The psychology of human attraction is a complex, fascinating web of evolutionary biology, subconscious impulses, and neurological shifts. Long before a man gathers the conscious courage to vocalize his feelings, his mind and body have already begun betraying his secret. The human brain is hardwired to seek connection, and when a strong romantic spark is ignited, it triggers a cascade of chemical reactions, such as spikes in dopamine, oxytocin, and norepinephrine, that manifest as subtle, involuntary behavioral changes for anyone trying to navigate the ambiguous waters of early dating or workplace crushes. Decoding these hidden signals is like gaining access to a secret superpower. Understanding these tells transforms confusing interactions into crystal-clear revelations, allowing you to read between the lines of casual conversations and standard social interactions. The primary reason these secret signs are so incredibly accurate is that they originate in the limbic system, the ancient emotional center of the brain. While a man can easily rehearse what he wants to say or force a polite, platonic smile, he cannot consciously control his physiological reflexes. He cannot force his pupils to dilate, stop his hands from nervously preening his hair, or consciously track where his feet are pointing in a crowded room. These micro-expressions and body language cues happen entirely on autopilot, serving as a direct window into his true desires. When a man is trying to keep his feelings under wraps, whether due to a fear of rejection, a desire to maintain professional boundaries, or simple shyness, his evolutionary drive to court and protect a desired mate will always clash with his conscious restraint. This psychological tug-of-war is precisely what creates the fascinating, undeniable patterns of covert attraction. Furthermore, analyzing these 15 signs requires a keen eye for baseline shifts in situational context. Attraction rarely presents itself in a single, isolated gesture. Instead, it reveals itself through clusters of behavior that break his normal social patterns. When a man transitions from viewing you as a casual acquaintance or friend to seeing you as a romantic interest, his entire orientation toward you shifts. He begins creating an exclusive psychological boundary around the two of you, prioritizing your presence over everyone else in the room. This manifests in the digital space through hyper-responsive messaging, in social settings through the deliberate engineering of physical proximity, and in private conversations through an unprecedented level of emotional vulnerability. By studying these 15 definitive headings, ranging from the fleeting microglance to the profound shift of his total presence, you will learn exactly how to spot the silent language of male infatuation. Let's dive deep into the fascinating behavioral analysis of how a man acts when he is secretly deeply attracted to you. The microglance. The microglance is one of the most reliable subconscious indicators of attraction because it happens entirely on an involuntary level. When a man is secretly drawn to you, his eyes will naturally gravitate toward you whenever you enter a room or change position. However, because he is actively trying to hide his feelings, a sudden spike in self-consciousness kicks in the moment he realizes he is looking. This triggers an immediate, sometimes awkward pivot of his gaze. You might catch him staring out of the corner of your eye, but the moment you turn your head to meet his look, he abruptly snaps his focus to his phone, a friend, or the wall. This rapid visual retreat is a defense mechanism designed to prevent rejection and avoid exposing his vulnerability. It reveals that you are the central anchor of his visual attention. In any social setting, the direction of his feet. Body language experts consistently point to the feet as the most honest part of the human body because we rarely think about controlling them. While a man can easily fake a smile or force polite eye contact, his feet will almost always point toward what he desires most. If you are standing in a group setting, observe the orientation of his lower body. Even if he is actively engaged in a conversation with someone else across the circle, you will often find that his toes are pointed directly at you. This physical alignment is a subconscious manifestation of his internal focus. His brain is treating you as the primary point of interest in the environment. If his feet are angled away or toward an exit, his mind is elsewhere, but when they lock onto your position, it proves he is fully anchored to you. Pupil dilation. Pupil dilation is a biological phenomenon that is completely impossible to consciously manipulate or fake, making it an incredibly accurate gauge of genuine emotional and physical attraction. When a person looks at someone they desire or feel a strong psychological connection toward, their sympathetic nervous system automatically triggers a physiological fight-or-flight response. This causes the brain to release a surge of dopamine and norepinephrine, which instantly forces the pupils to expand significantly, even in a brightly lit room. This ancient evolutionary response is designed to let in more visual information about the object of affection. If you notice his eyes softening and his black pupils expanding into large discs whenever he looks directly at you, his body is betraying his secret. It is a loud chemical confirmation that his brain finds you incredibly stimulating, highly captivating, and deeply attractive. Selective memory. When a man is secretly infatuated, his brain treats every single interaction with you as high-value data that must be catalogued and preserved. He will demonstrate an almost eerie level of selective memory, recalling incredibly minor details that you casually tossed out in conversation weeks or even months ago. While average acquaintances might forget your favorite childhood pet, the specific way you take your coffee, or a passing complaint about a coworker, a man who is attracted to you will store these facts like gold. He will later bring them up seamlessly, buy you that specific snack, or ask how that minor issue resolved itself. This hyper-retention happens because he listens to you with intense, undivided emotional focus. He isn't just hearing your words, he is studying you, using every small detail to build a comprehensive mental map of your personality. 5. The hero instinct shift. The hero instinct shift refers to a sudden, instinctive alteration in a man's physical posture, vocal tone, and overall presence the exact moment you enter his immediate vicinity. On a primitive level, male attraction triggers a subconscious desire to appear strong, capable, protective, and highly competent in front of a desired partner. You will notice that as soon as you walk into the room, he instantly sits up straighter, pulls his shoulders back, and chest out to maximize his physical size. Simultaneously, his vocal cords relax, causing his voice to drop into a noticeably deeper, more resonant baritone register when he speaks to you. He may also subconsciously take charge of small situations, offer assistance with heavy items, or step up to solve a minor problem. This behavioral shift is his evolutionary drive trying to project ultimate masculine reliability to impress you. Proximity testing. Proximity testing is a tactical yet subconscious method a man uses to gauge your comfort level around him without risking outright rejection. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he will constantly engineer subtle excuses to bridge the physical distance between you. In a crowded room, you will notice he always manages to stand just a little closer to you than anyone else. If you are sitting on a couch, he will choose the spot right next to you rather than the empty chair across the room. He might lean in deeply when you speak, or let his shoulder brush against yours while walking side by side. By entering your personal bubble, his subconscious is testing the waters. If you pull away, he gets his answer without a word spoken. If you stay put or lean in closer, you pass his silent test. The mirroring phenomenon. The mirroring phenomenon is one of the most powerful psychological indicators of deep subconscious rapport and intense mutual attraction. When a man is completely captivated by you, his brain's mirror neurons fire rapidly, causing him to unintentionally copy your exact physical actions, pacing, and behavioral quirks. If you take a sip of your drink, you will notice him reaching for his glass a split second later. If you cross your legs, rest your chin on your hand, or tilt your head while speaking, his body will subtly mimic those exact postures within moments. This involuntary mimicry is the human brain's evolutionary way of saying, "I am just like you, and I want to connect with you." It creates a powerful, unseen wave of comfort and synchronization between you, proving that his focus is entirely locked onto your frequency. The protective stance. The protective stance is rooted deep within evolutionary psychology, where male attraction automatically triggers an instinctual urge to guard and protect a desired mate. Even in a modern, completely safe social environment, a man who secretly likes you will display subtle, protective physical behaviors whenever you are together. When walking down a busy city street, he will automatically position himself on the outside of the sidewalk, closest to the rushing traffic. If you are navigating through a dense, chaotic crowd, he will step ahead to carve out a path for you, or place a light guiding hand on the small of your back. In a lounge or restaurant, he will often sit facing the entrance, subconsciously scanning the room. These chivalrous habits are entirely involuntary responses, proving that his protective instincts are deeply engaged by your presence. Nervous preening. Nervous preening is an instant giveaway that a man cares deeply about how he looks in your presence and is experiencing a spike in adrenaline. The moment you enter his line of sight or walk over to speak to him, an involuntary wave of self-consciousness washes over him. To cope with this sudden nervous energy, he will immediately begin adjusting his physical appearance to look his absolute best. You will see him running a hand through his hair, smoothing down his shirt, fixing his collar, or adjusting his watch and cuffs. He might also stand up straighter or check his reflection in a window. This behavioral pattern is a classic courtship display, seen across the animal kingdom. He wants to appear flawless for you, and his anxious fidgeting is the physical proof that your opinion of him matters immensely. The laughter check. The laughter check is an incredibly telling psychological reflex that reveals exactly who holds the highest emotional priority in a man's life. When a group of friends or coworkers is hanging out and someone tells a hilarious joke, everyone laughs simultaneously during that exact split second of shared group amusement. A man's instinctual reflex will force him to immediately look directly at the person he cares about the most. He will bypass everyone else in the room and lock eyes with you first. Subconsciously, he is seeking validation. He wants to see if you share his sense of humor, if you are happy, and if you are enjoying the moment as much as he is. Winning your smile or share of amusement is his ultimate reward, making this quick visual check a definitive marker of his secret infatuation. Extended touch lingering. Extended touch. Lingering is a highly revealing boundary test that a man uses to transition an interaction from platonic to romantic. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he will maximize every acceptable opportunity for physical contact, ensuring it lasts just a moment longer than standard social etiquette dictates. If you give him a casual high five, his hand will slide down slowly instead of breaking away instantly. During a standard greeting or goodbye hug, he will squeeze just a bit firmer and hold the embrace for an extra second, letting the physical closeness resonate. He might gently linger when handing you a cup of coffee, allowing your fingers to brush against his. These extended micro moments of physical contact are calculated by his subconscious to spark a chemical reaction and gauge whether you welcome his touch or pull away in discomfort. Digital urgency. Digital urgency is the modern-day equivalent of dropping everything to speak to someone, serving as a clear indicator of high emotional priority. In a world where people constantly play text response games to appear detached, a man who is secretly infatuated with you will utterly fail at maintaining that distance. The moment your name flashes across his phone screen, his dopamine levels spike, compelling him to reply with lightning speed. You will notice that he consistently breaks the wait to reply rule, often text bombing you with detailed, open-ended questions to keep the conversation flowing for hours. He will also be the first to view your social media stories and interact with your posts. This urgent digital responsiveness proves that he is constantly checking for your input, eagerly waiting for any excuse to engage with you throughout his day. Active vulnerability. Active vulnerability occurs when a man consciously strips away his emotional armor and lets you see the unpolished, authentic sides of his inner world. Men are socialized to protect their egos and project an image of stoic control to the outside world. However, when a man develops deep feelings for you, he will begin sharing personal fears, childhood memories, career anxieties, and long-term dreams that he keeps hidden from his closest male friends. Life decisions and listen to your perspective with genuine reverence. This emotional stripping is a profound sign of trust and attraction. By showing you his raw vulnerabilities, his subconscious is inviting you into his private psychological sanctuary, establishing an exclusive emotional bond that sets you far apart from anyone else. Artificial teasing. Artificial teasing is a classic, high-energy behavioral strategy used to generate romantic tension and build an exclusive world that only the two of you inhabit. When a man likes you but is too intimidated to confess his feelings directly, he will rely on playful, light-hearted banter to get your attention. He will gently poke fun at your quirks, create ridiculous nicknames for you, or playfully challenge your opinions on trivial topics. This playful friction is a safe vehicle for him to interact with you intensely without risking emotional rejection. By constantly generating these witty back-and-forth exchanges, he is actively trying to establish unique inside jokes that no one else understands. This creates a psychological boundary around the two of you, fostering an intimate, flirtatious camaraderie that lays the groundwork for a romantic relationship. Total presence. Total presence is the ultimate modern compliment and a definitive sign of absolute romantic captivation. In an era dominated by hyper-distraction and constant screen glancing, A man's attention is the most valuable currency he can offer. When you are speaking to a man who is secretly in love with you, you will notice him perform a deliberate physical ritual. He will slide his phone into his pocket or place it face down on the table, completely cutting off the outside world. He will lock his eyes onto yours, lean forward, and block out the ambient noise of a crowded room. He won't scan the environment or look over your shoulder at passing distractions. To his brain, you have become the most stimulating and high-value event in the room, making everything and everyone else completely irrelevant.